Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the incredible, completely subconscious biochemical processing plant that's literally working inside you right this second. Seriously, whether you're actively thinking about it or not, your body is just constantly breaking down complex materials to keep you functioning. It's an absolute marvel of biological engineering, and we're going to visually map out exactly how the whole thing works. It all really boils down to one foundational question, doesn't it? How exactly does a living organism maintain itself? From the simplest little cells to, well, complex humans like us, how do we repair and maintain ourselves over time? Because it definitely doesn't happen by magic. There's this deeply interconnected set of activities working behind the scenes 24/7. Think of these activities as the four pillars keeping you alive, perfectly summarized by the acronym RENT. You've got respiration, which, by the way, isn't just breathing, it's acquiring oxygen to break down food for your cells. Then there's excretion, the essential elimination of waste byproducts. We've got nutrition, which is acquiring external energy. And finally, transportation, the internal delivery system conveying those nutrients and oxygen everywhere they need to be. Today, we're zooming in entirely on that N, nutrition, and the incredible mechanics behind it. To get a handle on all of this, here is our roadmap for the explainer. 1. The rules of life. 2. Acquiring energy, nutrition modes. 3. Digestion, the upper tract. 4. Digestion, the lower tract. And 5. The accessory organs. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the rules of life, understanding the necessity of eating. So the big takeaway here is that nutrition isn't just, chewing and swallowing. It is a vital, totally transformative transfer of energy. We are literally taking external matter from our environment and converting it into the raw fuel that powers our cells, our heartbeat, and our brain. Basically, it's a biological exchange rate, matter for vitality. Moving right along to Section 2, acquiring energy, nutrition modes. How different organisms get their fuel. It's a pretty stark contrast when you look at it. On the left, you have autotrophic nutrition. Organisms like plants are basically self-sufficient chefs, right? They absorb carbon dioxide and water, use sunlight to convert them into carbs, and store the leftovers as starch. But on the right, that's us, heterotrophic nutrition. Animals and fungi literally have to outsource our energy gathering by relying on complex external substances. And because we take in complex food, we have to use biological catalysts, enzymes, to break it all down. Oh, and when we have surplus energy, we store it as glycogen, not starch. Now let's get into the actual mechanics. Section 3, digestion, the upper tract, the beginning of the mechanical and chemical breakdown. Let's trace this journey step by step. Point 1, it starts in your mouth. Teeth mechanically crush the food, while saliva chemically mixes in to form this soft mass we call a bolus. Moving to point 2, that bolus is guided safely past the pharynx, which is this Y-shaped fibromuscular conduit. By point 3, it's sliding down the esophagus, a 25-centimeter muscular tube. And finally, point 4, it drops into the stomach. This hollow muscular organ is our main digestive hub, and it just churns that food with powerful enzymes and acid. Now, here's something a lot of people get wrong. Food doesn't just casually fall down your throat thanks to gravity. It's actually squeezed through by this incredible muscle action called peristalsis. It's a rhythmic, wave-like contraction of smooth muscles. Honestly, because of peristalsis, you could theoretically eat a meal while hanging completely upside down like a bat, and your body would still actively push the food straight up, or, well, technically down, to your stomach. Once the food hits the stomach, it enters an incredibly hostile environment designed to break down proteins and absolutely obliterate microbes. It's actually wild to think about. The hydrochloric acid and enzymes like pepsin are so aggressive that your stomach's churning process would literally digest itself if it weren't for a rapid cellular regeneration process. Yep, your body replaces those lining cells every few days just to survive its own digestive firepower. Heading further down now, Section 4. Digestion, the lower tract, absorption, and waste processing. Before we even look at the organs themselves, I just want you to picture this number, 30 feet. That's roughly the length of a full-size school bus. This staggering number is the total length of the human digestive tract when it's fully extended. The vast, vast majority of this incredible length is folded and coiled super neatly inside your abdomen, making up the lower tract. And this is where we see a massive division of labor. The small intestine is the undisputed star of nutrient absorption. It's this highly coiled tube measuring about 9 to 10 feet in a living person where digested nutrients get transferred directly into your bloodstream. Then, once the small intestine has extracted all the good stuff, the leftovers pass into the large intestine. At 4 to 5 feet long, it's shorter, sure, but much wider, and it literally frames the small intestine. Its main gig, absorbing water and forming the remaining waste into feces.
Now, to maximize efficiency, the inside of your small intestine is definitely not a smooth pipe. It actually looks a lot more like a microscopic, shaggy bath towel. It is lined with villi. These tiny, finger-like projections drastically increase the surface area for absorption. Because of these villi, which contain blood capillaries and little structures called lacteals for fats, your body can catch nearly every possible drop of fuel, whether that's glucose, amino acids, or fats, from whatever you just ate.
Which brings us to Section 5, the accessory organs, the chemical helpers of the digestive system.
So while the stomach and intestines are doing a ton of the heavy lifting, they've got 3 absolutely vital assistants sitting just off to the side. Over on the right side of the stomach is the liver, a total metabolic powerhouse that processes nutrients and pumps out bile to emulsify fats. Tucked right beneath that is the gallbladder, basically acting as a storage tank to concentrate that bile until you need it. And nestled right behind the stomach is the pancreas. The pancreas is basically an enzyme factory, secreting amylase, lipase, and proteases straight into the small intestine to finish off the chemical breakdown.
Zooming out for a second, these 5 steps really summarize the whole shebang of how we fulfill the nutrition part of our life processes. First, ingestion at the mouth. Next is digestion, the mechanical and chemical breakdown we talked about. Then comes absorption, primarily in the small intestine thanks to those amazing little villi. Step 4 is assimilation, which is where our cells actually grab those nutrients and use them for energy, growth, and repair. And finally, egestion, where the large intestine steps up to eliminate the undigested waste.
So, the next time you sit down for a meal, I really want you to picture the epic journey that food is about to take. Considering this incredible 30-foot biochemical processing plant operating inside you right this very second, what are you going to feed it next to fuel your life processes? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this leaves you with a profound new appreciation for the subconscious machinery that is working nonstop to keep you alive. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.